Welcome to my channel, where I bring literature to life through dramatic readings. Whether you're a fan of whodunits, fantasy, or anything in between, you'll find something to love here. Join me as I dive into the world of words and let the stories unfold before your eyes. TV Bonds, ready to go. Hey, today we're going to read The Duke's Lesson in Love by Robecca Austin. I know it's backwards. It's going to be okay. I'll be reading it correctly. Here's about the book. After a disastrous love affair, Lord Gilleasbuig was content living a life outside of London's spotlight until a series of accidents threatened to leave his estate without an heir. Lucky for him, he had a son he could claim and protect. Except the devastatingly beautiful Miss Sadie Fields, who had cared for the child since birth, was a force to be reckoned with. Y'all know what's about to go down. We're about to get that romance. Chapter 1. Spring, London, England. Where the heck is my bloody son? Lord Gilleasbuig Wilkinson Quinn, Duke of Mondale House, slammed his fist against the solicitor's wooden desk. Your Grace! The solicitor, Geoffrey Crawford, stood abruptly, his chair falling against the stone floor with a distinctive thud as he scrambled to perform pleasantries. Pushing his round spectacles higher to perch on the bridge of his short nose, he began to neaten the piles of scattered papers littering his desk. The solicitor and his father before him worked for the Quinn family. Though Gill rejected his parents' excesses, meeting the solicitor had been a pleasant surprise. The man was hard-working and lived simply, but his greatest asset was his knowledge of the Quinn's family holdings. He is well, Your Grace, I assure you. Your assurances are lacking, he thundered, causing the other man to flinch. The boy, your son, is safe at the orphanage. I visited Miss Headley before writing to you and Edwin as well. Why is he not here? Gill glanced around the office for a sign that the child inhabited the space and found no signs, awaiting my arrival. He straightened slowly, not entirely convinced by the solicitor's reassurances. Fear and guilt had choked him the moment he read the solicitor's letter informing him that possible danger had reached his son. His rush to London surprised Gill, but somewhere deep inside, he knew it was his and not the solicitor's job to protect his son, which was why he was furious the boy wasn't in the room. He uncurled his fingers, sneering as the pile of pages he had disrupted slid against his fist in a disobedient mess. Gill turned away from the solicitor's frantic attempt to order and took in the view of the city's bustling streets. The window stretched from the ceiling, stopping almost at his hips, and was ajar. Stale wind wafted in the office no longer than the guest's chamber to mingle with odors of coal from a fire long put out and warm wax. The solicitor inhaled and released the air quickly. Beg up your pardon, Your Grace, but I did not expect you for another 6 days. Gill had no intention to set foot in the city before his scheduled visit, except the solicitor's letter fired a sense of urgency. Small incidents on his property were becoming too frequent and dangerous to ignore. The solicitor's recent letter had only heightened his suspicions. He clasped his hands behind his back. Why didn't you inform me of the other attempted kidnapping of the boy? The solicitor sputtered. My apologies, my lord. With the rookery nearby, I assumed it was a random act. Once there was a second attempt, I sent word to you. Mrs. Headley only recently made the connection herself that the boy might be in danger. Gill closed his eyes and exhaled slowly. He had intended to take the boy from the orphanage on his 10th birthday and see him attend E10, a boarding school fitting his station, but at 5 years old, Edwin was attached to the women. No, he corrected. His son was attached to one woman at the orphanage, a black caregiver with smooth, dark umber skin. Her hair was always braided and under a bonnet, and he wanted to sink his hands into her thick coils. He had stared at her as much as he had his son, whilst observing from a distance. Her dedication to Edwin and the warmth in her eyes each time she looked at the boy drew him closer. He was instantly attracted to the woman who loved so freely. On occasion, when he visited London, he had stood outside the orphanage and watched them play. Gill's heart was not so black that he would deny the boy a sliver of love or compassion at his tender young age, even if Gill no longer believed himself capable of expressing such emotions. He had hoped to let Edwin have 5 more years of love and happiness before he stepped out of the shadows and into his son's life, but this latest attempt suggested he was running out of time. Your Grace, are you certain the boy is in danger? No one but you and the boy's mother know of his existence, and you paid her well for her silence. A cold shiver ran along Gill's spine. He was certain his aunt and his cousin knew of Edwin's existence. Although he could not imagine his parents sharing their misfortune, as they called the affair, his aunt was cunning when she set her mind to a task. And neither her nor her son thought he deserved the dukedom. His teeth clenched. I cannot risk it. He is my son. What of your cousin and their mother? Lady Beatrice Quinn will not abide by your decision to claim an illegitimate child quietly, not while her son is next in line. Every instinct warned the pair were behind his current misfortune. While Gill didn't care about the dukedom, he'd make certain his wealth was beyond Caleb's reach. Add arson to the list of suspicious incidents, Gill said, shocking an audible gasp from the man. The front room and the bedchamber were destroyed, along with the furniture and part of the roof. Pigs gone missing were one matter, but when the culprit covered herbs and plants the villagers used as medicine with livestock blood, Gill knew those responsible aimed to spark fear. Since the livestock belonged to his tenants, it was only a matter of time before those living on his property believed his estate was cursed. Until I discover who is responsible, even my cousin is not above suspicion. The solicitor shook his head, ruffling strands of neatly combed hair that was slicked backward atop his head. Not even your cousin is foolish enough to destroy the property he wishes to inherit. The man's eyes fixed on Gill. Pardon my bluntness, your Grace, but who else have you angered? No one. Gill cocked his eyebrow. Everyone adores me. At any rate, his tenants and employees did. Though he declined to remodel or repair the main house any more than necessary, each of his tenants had new roofs and repairs made to their homes as needed. What about those of the Parliament? There was that. The other lords in Berwick, allies of your parents, can't be happy you voted against every bill your parents supported. I am not my parents. I will always do right by my tenants, regardless of what my neighbors say, he said. Have the money sent for the repairs to the cottage immediately. The solicitor sighed. I will tally the cost of rebuilding the cottage. I would like the repairs completed before the weather turns chilly. Very good, your Grace. The man nodded. When did the home burn? The day following your message. Gill's hands stiffened behind his burgundy tailcoat. If not for the home being so close to the watermill, the cottage would have burned to the ground. Was anyone hurt? The solicitor paled. No, the family was not home. An angry tic worked along his jaw, giving free rein to his rising fury. The last incident, coupled with the attempted kidnapping, squashed any lingering reservations regarding intervening in his son's upbringing. Turning away from the solicitor, he faced the window again. This time, he didn't notice the crests on passing carriages, the pickpockets pretending casualness as they braced the sides of shops, or the pedestrians who offered them no more than a glance of disregard. You will add my son to the final will and testament. Ensure no one can question or contest his rights in my wealth, Gill instructed. If Caleb wanted the title, so be it. But he'd be darned if he left a single shilling to be snatched. Of course, your Grace. Those documents were drafted upon your request at the beginning of the year. They only need filing in the courts for your claim as Edwin's father to be legitimized, the man said, scribbling notes on a sheet of parchment. Who will be trustee for the boy? I assume you want someone other than your cousin, especially since you've worked so hard to restore your family's wealth. The person that immediately came to my mind was the dark beauty with piercing eyes. I'll give thought to a trustee and let you know. Very good, your Grace. I will also be taking him home with me today. As soon as he uttered the words, his decision felt right. Although he didn't know how to be a loving or affectionate, or even a father, his son belonged in Mondale House. And will he be returning to the orphanage once the danger has passed, Your Grace? Gill stiffened at the solicitor's words. No. The man gaped, but thankfully didn't question his right to raise his son as he saw fit. Is everything arranged then? The man peered over the rim of his spectacles. A governess, a nanny to care for the child? Gill clenched his teeth. Of course. He hadn't considered a nanny. Surely the child was old enough to wash behind his ears. Perhaps, Your Grace, he is safer. His needs are better met if he stays with the women. Now that we know the circumstances, they can keep a watchful eye over the boy. He's not safe in London. If the incidents were not by chance, there was no telling how far the culprit would go to see their plans through. Do as I say, Geoffrey. He would not remain in the city a minute longer than necessary. As far as the women went, he trusted none with the task of protecting his son. So, what did you think? I know, right? Man's raising his son. Ain't got no nanny. He's talking about washing behind his ears. Nannies do more than that. You got to watch a child. You got to educate him. You got all this stuff to do. I hope he's ready. I guess we'll find out. Clearly, we know who's going to be the nanny. Or at least I got to guess. I mean, you don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure. Let's just be honest. Context clues. Anyway, thank you for joining me for this dramatic reading. I hope you enjoyed my interpretation of this literary work. As always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to stay updated on the latest videos. Hit that bell, ding, so you won't miss a video, and let me know in the comments. I'm just saying, hook a girl up with some comments, positive ones, please. And let me know in the comments which books you'd like to see me bring to life next. Until next time, happy reading. Oh, and don't forget to check the link below if you're interested in this book. Give Rebecca some love. Bye.